In the artwork, Seduction of the World's Most Famous Pilot, a vivid palette of reds and greens creates an almost theatrical impression. Front and center is a large, red-suited figure wearing goggle-like headgear. To the left, a partially clad woman with flowing blonde hair wraps herself around him, one arm suggestively placed, while on the right, a stylized red biplane, complete with flames near its nose, hovers in mid-air. The painting's lower portion reveals a patchwork of shapes in muted yellows and browns, suggesting a hidden meaning or possibly reflections of action off-screen. Handwritten at the bottom is the phrase, "Seduction of the World's Most Famous Pilot," framing the scene as both playful and provocative. At first glance, the piece conveys a sense of dynamic embrace. The female figure's curving body contrasts the bulbous, mechanical lines of the pilot's red suit. The swirling blues and greens behind them form a textured sky, populated by additional aircraft silhouettes in the background. There's a blend of surreal and cartoon-like elements, large, simplified forms for heads and torsos, yet also painterly washes of color that hint at a more layered approach. The result is whimsical, energetic, and laced with a wry sense of humor. One might read it as a literal temptation scene, where the pilot's attention is divided between fleshly seduction and the lure of airborne adventure, symbolized by the flaming prop plane. The bold outlines and exaggerated, almost comic book coloring call to mind pop art sensibilities, reminiscent of Roy Lichtenstein's tongue-in-cheek approach to popular imagery. Yet the loose, painterly textures and surreal mashup of figures in flight evoke elements of European surrealism, where improbable juxtapositions highlight deeper psychological themes. The vibrant reds, deep greens, and heavy outlines also echo expressionist traditions. Artists such as George Gross or Otto Dix sometimes used caricature-like figures to critique societal obsessions, here, perhaps, with aviation celebrity or sexual bravado. While referencing older modes of figurative painting, this work feels modern in its narrative twist. The pilot's iconic gear recalls the romance of early 20th century flight. Think of the Red Baron or barnstorming pioneers. But it's reimagined with a sly, contemporary wink. The works of Peter Saul or Jim Nutt, the Chicago imagists, often feature brightly colored, cartoon-influenced figures in surreal scenarios. Tom Wesselman's pop art nudes are known for stylized female forms in flattened colors, though here the technique is more painterly than purely graphic. At times, the floating or dreamlike presence of figures in Chagall's work resonates with the improbable aerial relationship in this painting, albeit with a more satirical edge here. On one level, the painting depicts a comedic seduction. The world's most famous pilot stands with arms wide in a flamboyant flying jacket, while a near-nude figure beckons with physical allure. The swirling planes in the background suggest either his lofty ambitions or the cosmic scale of his celebrity. Alternatively, one might see it as a commentary on the glamorization of heroism, how popular culture elevates figures like pilots or daredevils only to entangle them in sensational or sexualized narratives. The bright reds on both the figure and airplane lend a sense of heat or passion, connecting the idea of risk in flight to a risk in romance or desire. Seduction of the World's Most Famous Pilot riffs on iconic aviation themes, merging them with humor, sexuality, and painterly bravado. Drawing from pop culture's hero worship and surrealist flights of fancy, it creates a vibrant tableau that questions the interplay between fame, erotic allure, and the romantic mythos of flight. Whether read as a playful homage or a satirical jab at larger-than-life figures, the painting holds an unmistakable energy, one that hovers between skyward adventure and grounded human longing. From a Zen perspective, this painting symbolizes the interplay between desire and discipline. The figure of the pilot, encased in its mechanical armor, represents the human tendency to control and conquer, while the woman and the flaming plane serve as distractions or tests along the journey. The scene invites the viewer to contemplate the transient nature of temptation and the stillness needed to navigate life's chaotic and seductive forces. This piece resonates with hexagram 64, before completion, which speaks of a moment of transition and potential chaos, before resolution. The pilot is at a crossroads, teetering between the pull of earthly distractions, embodied by the woman, and the pursuit of a higher, more disciplined calling, symbolized by the airplane in flight. The hexagram advises caution, vigilance, and the steady pursuit of clarity amidst confusion. Lao Tzu teaches that the Tao flows effortlessly, free from attachment and desire. The painting captures the tension between striving and surrender. The red figure, encumbered by its mechanical armor, contrasts sharply with the woman's flowing, natural presence. The I Ching would remind us that strength lies not in resistance, but in yielding, as the river winds gently through the landscape, a metaphor for the path of least resistance. We urge you to see this scene not as a cosmic drama, but as a mirror of everyday human struggles. The pilot's confrontation with seduction and danger mirrors our own tendencies to be pulled in conflicting directions. We would suggest that true freedom lies in mindfulness, being aware of the forces pulling at us and choosing a path that aligns with our values. We might interpret this painting as a metaphor for the creative process itself, a chaotic blend of inspiration, temptation, and discipline. The woman represents the spark of inspiration, alluring but fleeting, while the flaming plane is the untamed passion driving the artist forward. The pilot, caught in the middle, embodies the need to harness that energy, balancing freedom and control to create something extraordinary. Seduction of the world's most famous pilot is a rich tapestry of ambition, vulnerability, and the human condition. The central figure is not just a pilot, but a symbol of anyone navigating the skies of life, facing distractions and challenges that threaten to derail their path. The painting urges us to consider the cost of giving in to fleeting desires versus staying true to our purpose. Let this artwork remind you to pause and reflect on your own distractions and desires. What tempts you away from your greater goals? Embrace mindfulness in your decisions, and remember that while the journey may be fraught with challenges, clarity and balance will guide you to soar above the chaos.